Yaswanubhavam akilam shrutisarameekam adhyatmadipam atititirshataam tamondam samsarinam karunayaha purana guhyam tam yasasunumupayami gurum muninam. Menire bhagavadrupam shastram bhagavatam kalau pathanat shravanat sadhyaha vaikuntha phaladayakam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the means to attain moksha. Pathanat shravanat satyah vaikuntha paladayakam. Bhagavatam, as we know, is full of stutis. In every skanda of Bhagavata, we get to relish scintillating stutis, glorifying Bhagavan in various ways. And therefore, Bhagavatam becomes a means for us to engage in a meaningful conversation with Krishna. Through every stuti, we get an opportunity to not only relish Krishna's Kalyana Gunas, but also an opportunity to engage in a conversation with him. And Krishna, being someone who reciprocates continuously, constantly, and with love, the more we sing his stutis, the more he reveals to us. Right from the beginning of Bhagavatam, we have been relishing several scintillating stutis. Kunti stuti, Bhishma stuti, Dhruva stuti, Shukha stuti, Prahlada stuti. One such glorious stuti is Brahma Stuti. We have been relishing the Brahma Vimohana Leela, a glorious incident in the Dashamaskanda. Brahma decides to test Krishna. We saw how deluded Brahma, in a state of delusion, decides to test Krishna and steals not only Krishna's calves, but also all the cowherds of Raja. And we saw the subsequent cheshtitas of Krishna, how he manifests himself as the calves and the cowherds. Hundreds and hundreds of calves, hundreds and hundreds of cowherds. Charming entire Raja. And this cheshtita continued for a year. And then when Brahma came back, Brahma was shocked. He was shocked to see that all the cowherds and the calves he stole were very much there on Raja. And then Krishna decided to reveal something special, something very unique. Krishna decided to reveal the very truth, reality to Brahma. Brahma got a glorious vision of thousands of Vishnu Murtis, Bhagavan Vishnu all over. Brahma was blessed with a divine vision, the vision of Vishwarupa. Bhagavan decided to reveal the essential truth through this vision to Brahma. Yachakinchit jagat sarvam drishyate shruyate piva antarbahishchatat sarvam vyapya narayana stitaha. Antarbahishchatat sarvam vyapya narayana stitaha. Brahma realized how Narayana is pervading and permeating everything in this universe. Brahma, through that glorious vision, realized how Bhagavan is Vishwam. He is endowed with limitless auspicious qualities. He is complete. He is Purna. He is Vishnu, one who pervades and permeates every entity, in the universe, the living and the non-living, and one who not only pervades and permeates, he transcends everything that he creates. He is Vashatkaraha, one who controls everything that he creates. Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu, the master of time. He is Bhutatma, one who indwells and remains as a guide, as a witness. Bhuta Krit, Bhuta Bhrit, who is the cause of all creation, Trividha Karana, who is not only Trividha Karana, he is not only the cause of all creation, he is the sustainer and support of all creation. He is Bhavana, he is someone who is distinct and different from all that he has created. And he remains in all his splendor. Everything in creation is his Vibhu. He is Vibhu and everything is his Vibhuti, and everything in this creation are attributes, just like how the peacock feathers are to a peacock. He is Bhuta Bhavanaha. He is the one who nourishes, sustains, and invigorates and grows everything in this universe. Brahma gets to experience this truth. Brahma experiences that Vakya in the Vedas, Sarvam Vishnumayam, Sarvam Krishnamayam. And immersed in that vision, Brahma gets into a state of deep gratitude. And when Krishna pulls him out of that vision, we saw how Brahma once again gets to see the same cowherd, the naughty little cowherd, carrying curd rice on his palm, going in search of the calves and the cowherds. Brahma, in a state of deep gratitude, with horripilations all over his body, he prostrates to Krishna, the little Gopakumara, with his 4 crowns touching the ground. He not only prostrates to the feet, lotus feet of Krishna, with tears rolling down from his eyes. He washes those lotus feet with his tears. And in that state of deep gratitude, in that state of realization, Brahma composes a wonderful stuti, which is celebrated as Brahma Stuti. This stuti is quite revealing in terms of Brahma's elucidation on the supreme nature of Bhagavan. And he realizes how Krishna, of course, is none other than Narayana himself. Brahma concludes the stuti with a very important declaration. Samashritaye padapallava plavam mahatpadam punyayasho murare bhavambudir vatsapadam parampadam padam yat vipadam natesham. One of the glorious declarations in Srimad Bhagavatam. It may sound like a puzzle. Padam yat vipadam natesham. Brahma looks at Krishna and declares, Bhagavan, Samashrita ye padapallava plavam. For those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of Krishna, padapallava plavam, mahatpadam punyayasho murare, who is the shelter of the entire cosmos. The Murari is the shelter of entire cosmos. Samashrita ye padapallava plavam, mahatpadam punyayasho murare, bhavambhudir vatsapadam parampadam padam yat vipadam natesham. For those who have taken the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, their goal is Paramapada, Vaikuntha, not this material world where every step, every pada is filled with danger. Bhagavan, by revealing himself to Brahma, his Swarupa and nature, his true nature to Brahma, he also shows Brahma what is the means to attain him. Brahma Stuti is so very significant that Brahma not only enjoys Bhagavan's Rupa, he also explains Bhagavan's Swarupa. Brahma Uvacha. Naumidyate Brahma, Naumidyate Bhavapushe Tadidambaraya, Kunjavatamsa Paripiccha Lasanmukhaya Panyasraje Kavalavetra Vishana Venu Lakshmashriye Mrudupade Pashupangajaya. What a beautiful shloka. Brahma says, Naumidyate Bhravapushe Tadidambaraya. Hey Krishna, you are the most worthy of worship. Your body, your form, you have a hue like that of a dark blue cloud, and your garments is like brilliant, like lightning. Gunjavatamsa Paripiccha Lasanmukhaya. Hey Krishna, you wear ornaments made of gunja berries. Krishna is wearing ornaments made of gunja berries. You wear a peacock feather on your head, Paripiccha Lasanmukhaya, and therefore your beautiful face thus becomes resplendent. Interestingly, in Krishna Avatara, especially when Krishna is on Vrajabhumi, he has given rest to all his Divyabharanas. He's asked all his Divyabharanas to take rest. And Krishna chooses ordinary gunja berries. Krishna chooses ordinary peacock feathers. Vanyasraje, he uses ordinary flowers in the Vrindavana forest to make garlands. He is wearing ornaments made of gunja berries, ornaments made of flowers from the gardens. He is just wearing an ordinary peacock feather. You may wonder why Krishna is doing it. Why resting all his Divya Bharanas? Bhagavan is demonstrating his Vatsalya Guna. He is ready to accept everything and anything and adorn them, giving an opportunity for ordinary things to attain an extraordinary status. A gunja berry that adorns Krishna's chest becomes extraordinary for having got that opportunity. An ordinary peacock feather mounting on Krishna's head, not on his feet. A peacock feather is given that exalted position of staying on Krishna's head. It's an extraordinary status. Krishna, out of his Vatsalya, gives such exalted positions even to ordinary things in this material world. Panyastraje Kavalavetra Vishana Venu. Just like an ordinary cowherd boy, Krishna keeps going around holding a curd rice on his palm. Kavalavetra Vishana Venu. With a morsel of curd rice, a herding stick on one side, and a bugle, a horn, and a flute on the other side. Brahma is describing the Gopala Vesha of Krishna. Brahma begins his stuti not by describing the Narayana Rupa, the Paravasudeva Rupa, but he starts by describing the Gopala Vesha. Therefore, that form of Krishna is so very significant because through that form, Bhagavan is demonstrating his Saulabhya. That Paravasudeva is making himself accessible as an ordinary cowherd boy, being around with the rest of the cowherd boys. Therefore, Brahma is fascinated with that enchanting Gopala Vesha of Krishna. Lakshmashriye Mrudupade Pashupangajaye. Hey Krishna, you are endowed with all beauty and all opulences. And he's saying, Mrudupade Pashupangajaye. You are standing on your soft feet, hey Krishna. Brahma is looking at Bhagavan's feet, those tender feet. There are no padukas. Krishna, incidentally, throughout Vraja, he always walked without padukas, with his tender feet making imprints everywhere he went. Krishna wanted to leave imprints, making himself accessible to all. The Gopikas and the Gopas stayed connected with Krishna through Krishna's imprints that were left everywhere on the sacred land of Vrajabhumi. Mridupade Pashupangajaya, the one who is a cowherd, son of Nanda. Again, Brahma celebrating Bhagavan's Saushilya Guna, his ability to mix freely without showing any discrimination whatsoever. That Paravasudeva descends and mixes freely with everyone without any discrimination whatsoever. Brahma says, hey Bhagavan, I cannot understand you. I cannot understand your cheshtitas. And he says, Shreyashritim bhakti mudasyate vibhoho krishyantiye kevala bodha labdhaye teshamasau kleshala eva sishyate Nanyadyata sthula tushavaghatinam. Brahma says, a Bhagavan rejecting the path of bhakti, many people try to engage in speculation. A very troublesome process they go in order to understand you. He says, Shreyashritim bhakti mudasyate viboho klishyantiye kevala bodhalabdhaye. If one tries to cultivate the faculty of just speculation, using analysis, using one's intelligence, one will never try to know you. It is impossible to know you, Bhagavan, just through speculative knowledge alone. How? He gives a beautiful example. He says, Teshamasau kleshala eva sishyate nanyadyatha stula tushavaghatinam. By just trying to speculate, analyze, and trying to know Krishna through one's intelligence alone, the desired result will not be achieved. Just like how nanyadyata stula tushavaghatinam, by beating an empty husk of wheat, one cannot get any grain. One can keep beating an empty husk of wheat any number of times, one will not get grain. Similarly, by beating one's head through speculation, through analysis, using one's intelligence, one can never attain you, Krishna. One can never know you. Brahma is referring to what can be popularly called the frog philosophy. It seems there were two frogs in a well. They were never ever out of the well. All that they knew, their world was that well. And one frog was talking to other frog. You know what? I happen to hear that there is something called an ocean which is outside this well. What do you think this ocean is? The other frog, which is seemingly wisely is saying, the ocean is supposed to be a large body of water. And then the first frog asks, how large and how deep that ocean can be? Will it be two times the size of this well? Will it be 3 times the size of this well? Will it be 100 times the size of the well? By trying to know Krishna through our intelligence is like using the frog philosophy. How can we ever measure the breadth and the depth and the length of an ocean with a tiny spoon? Brahma says, hey Krishna, it is impossible to know you, but one can easily know you. One can effortlessly know you through bhakti. Naham vedaina tapasa nadanena chejjaya shakya evam adodrashtum drishtavanasi mam yatha bhaktya tvananyaya shakya aham evam vidorjuna Nyatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. Krishna says, it is only through the means of bhakti one can attain you, hey Bhagavan. No one can count your qualities. You have infinite auspicious qualities. Trying to count your Kalyana gunas, instead of experiencing Bhagavan's gunas with a speculative mind, if one starts to count, how many gunas can Krishna have? One would end up wasting one's lifetime. He says, what is the point in trying to count the number of stars in the sky? Instead, it is worthwhile if one can experience the beauty of a star. Even if one can experience the beauty of one star, it is more worthwhile than trying to count the number of stars in the sky. Similarly, Bhagavan has several Kalyana gunas. One guna is enough for a lifetime for us to immerse ourselves deeply. What is the point in trying to measure, trying to count the number of gunas that you have? You are the possessor of infinite number of Kalyana gunas, possessor of all great opulences. You, the Paravasudeva, you have descended here for our sake. Who in the universe can measure you, count you? Tatte anukampam su samikshamanaha. Therefore, hey Krishna, one who earnestly waits for your costless mercy. Very important point that Brahma is raising here. He says, one has to wait for Bhagavan's mercy. Anukampa is Krishna's mercy. The word here that needs to be underlined is wait. Wait with patience. We pray today, we pray in the morning, and we start already asking for results in the afternoon. We are impatient that results should come immediately. Tatte anukampam su samikshamanaha bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. He also says, not only one must wait earnestly for Krishna's mercy, in that process, patiently one must keep experiencing one's own karma. one's own papa karma and punya karma. No escaping the fact. Who is saying this? Brahma is saying this. Brahma is also like us, continuing to experience punya karma and papa karma, patiently suffering the reactions of all the past deeds. We cannot think that I prayed to Krishna this morning, so I am now completely immune to all my own papa karmas or punya karmas. No. Bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam kritva kvapurbhit vidadhan namaste. But waiting does not mean just waiting. Waiting means continue to do loving service to Krishna, Hrit, Vak, Vapuhu, with the heart, with our words, with the entire body. One must constantly keep working. One must constantly be doing loving devotional service to Krishna. The focus is not what happens to us, the focus is what we can do. The focus is what we can do to Krishna, not what happens to us. Jivetayo muktipadesa dayabhak. Then, in that process, slowly, steadily, with patience, with shraddha and with bhakti, one becomes dayabhak, the recipient of Krishna's grace, Krishna's mercy, and one becomes qualified for liberation from the material bondage, and one becomes qualified to attain a state of Nitya Kainkarya, eternal service of Bhagavan Krishna. And then he is seeking forgiveness for having the audacity to test Krishna. Now he looks at Krishna, I tried to test you like every other bhakta of yours. Now you need to forgive me. Why you need to forgive me? Ukshepanam garbhagatasya padayoh kim kalpate matur adhokshajagase. Adhokshaja, what a beautiful nama Brahma is using. Krishna is Adhokshaja. There are two ways to understand Adhokshaja. Adhokshaja is one who is transcendent, who cannot be perceived. Adhokshaja is one who also never diminishes. His glory never diminishes. Bhagavan is always forgiving. Brahma is reminding him, Ukshepanam garbhagatasya padayoh kim kalpate matur adhokshajagase. Just like how a mother does not mind when her own child in her womb keeps kicking her. The child inside the womb constantly keeps kicking. Mother never gets annoyed. She never complains. Rather, she enjoys those kicks. Brahma says, just like how a mother enjoys the kicks of her own child inside her womb, I also know you are also forgiving. Like a mother, whenever we end up doing mistakes, we too end up like the little child in the womb kicking its own mother. We too end up doing things that are unpardonable, but we know that you are forgiving. Bhagavan is known for giving and forgiving. These are two things he always does. He always keeps giving and he always keeps forgiving. He is giving and forgiving, but we also need to learn one thing from him. We need to learn to forgive the unavoidable and avoid the unforgivable. We need to learn to forgive the unavoidable. In our spiritual progress, we too end up committing apacharas. Many times the question is asked, what if I do this apachara unknowingly? Will Krishna be upset? Will he punish me? Krishna will never upset because he is forgiving all the time. So therefore, we should also forgive the unavoidable. But we must avoid the unforgivable. What is unforgivable? Anything that displeases Krishna. We must avoid. We must be conscious of what pleases Krishna. The question that should have come to our mind every time we do any deed, will this deed of mine please my Krishna? If the answer is yes, then we go ahead. If the answer is no, we must avoid. So therefore, here Brahma is not only expressing his gratitude, he is seeking forgiveness. Hey Krishna, please forgive me like a mother. Kimasti nasti vyapadesha bhushitam tavasti kukshehe kiyadapyanantaha. And Everything that is inside, everything that is outside. Some may call, there are things that exist, there are things that don't exist, real, unreal, known, unknown. Ultimately, everything is inside your own abdomen, inside your own belly. So therefore, what is the point in debating over this when you are the one who containing everything? You are that Vasudeva. Just like how a mother is protecting the child in its womb, you are protecting this entire creation. And therefore, please forgive me for all the excesses that I have committed, the transgressing. If I have transgressed the border of unavoidable, please forgive me. After all, I am your son, Brahma says. Jagatrayanto dadi samplavode Narayanasyoddara nabhinalat vinirgato jaspiti Vanna vaivmrishaha kintishwaratvanna vinirgatosmi. Brahma is reminded of his own birth, his own emanation. He says, after all, hey Krishna, I am your son. I remember how I emanated out of the divine lotus flower, which emanated from that divine Nabhi of yours as Narayana reclined on the Ksheerabdhi. Krishna is also naughty. Brahma played this game with him. Now, even when during Brahma Stuti, Krishna is looking at him. Yes, I know, I do know that. I know that you emanated from Narayana's divine Nabhi, but then why are you prostrating to me? Brahma says, Krishna, enough of your pranks. Don't do this with me. Narayanastvam nahi sarvadehinam atmasi adishakila lokasakshi. You say, why? I know you are that Narayana, hey Krishna. You now cannot hide from me anymore. You are that Narayana. Then Krishna looks at, if I am that Narayana, you said you emanated from the divine Nabhi of that Narayana through lotus flower, and that Narayana was lying on the Ksheerabdhi. Therefore, the Ksheerabdhi must be within the universe. And how can a Narayana be transcendent when that Narayana from whom you emanated is within that universe? Krishna looks at Brahma and asks this question. Brahma says, Narayanangam narabhujalanat tachapi satyam nataiva maya. If it is not Maya, that who is transcendent is also immanent. That Paravasudeva becomes Vyuha Vasudeva, that Vyuha Vasudeva becomes Vibhava Vasudevas, and that Vibhava Vasudeva also remains as Antaryami. Wherever you are that supreme being. And therefore, hey Krishna, do not play this trick with me, and I am blessed that you have revealed yourself to me. Ekastvamatma Purushah Puranaha. Now he glorifies Krishna's Swarupa. He says, Ekastvamatma Purushah Puranaha Satyasvayam Jyoti Ananta Adyaha Nityaksharo Jasra Sukho Niranjanaha Purnadvayo Mukta Upadito Amritaha. Ekastvamatma Purushaha Puranaha. You are that supreme being, that Paramatma. You are not only the Paramatma, you are also the Purushottama. You are also the Purana Purusha. You are Satyaha. You are Swayam Jyotihi, self-effulgent, self-manifest. You are Anantaha. You are endless. You are Adyaha. You are beginningless. You are Nityaha. You are Aksharaha. You are Ajasra Sukha Niranjanaha. Anantaha, without an end. Adyaha, without beginning. Nityaha, you are eternal. Aksharaha, you are indestructible. Ajasra Sukha, whose happiness cannot be obstructed, whichever form you take. Niranjanaha, devoid of contamination. You are Purnaha. This is what Swami Ramanuja says, Akilaheya Pratyanika Kalyanaikatana Svetara Vastu Samasta Vastu Vilakshana Ananta Jnananandaika Swarupa, he says. How do we, the nature of that supreme Brahman is beautifully being described here by Brahma. He says, on the one hand, you are all pervading. You are all pervading. You are Satyaha, Swayam Jyotihi, Anantaha, Adyaha, Nityaha, Aksharaha. You are all pervading. At the same time, you also are Purna. You also are the Purushottama. You also have a divine form. This is where there is endless debate that goes on, philosophical debate. Is he limitless? Is he formless? Does he have a form? the answer that Shastras give and what Brahma is giving is Bhagavan has a limitless form. Bhagavan has a boundless form. Now, boundless form is an oxymoron. But that is only when we look at boundlessness and form with a materialistic reference. When we refer anything to the material, a material form has limitations. But a form of Bhagavan is not material. Therefore, it's not subject to any limitations. So therefore, he is both limitless, he is all pervading. At the same time, he also has Divya Mangala Vigraha. And Brahma here, therefore, is saying Nityaha, Aksharaha, Ajasra Sukhaha, Niranjanaha, Purnaha, one who is endowed with completeness, Kalyana Gunas, Advayaha, Mukta Upaditaha, Amritaha. Amrita here, of course, Amrita can be translated as deathlessness, but here Amrita has to be understood as Bhagavan is the Amrita of Amrita. He is the eternal fountain of that bliss, and we can continue to keep experiencing that bliss eternally. Therefore, he is Amritaha. Philosophers may waste their time analyzing what is the nature of Bhagavan. One can spend several lifetimes trying to find out what exactly is the nature of Bhagavan. Brahma says one can waste time analyzing the nature of Bhagavan. Is he formless? Does he have form? What kind of form he has? Is he attributeless? Does he have attributes? That can go on. But in the process, they will fail to recognize how fortunate the Gopas and the Gopis are. Therefore, Brahma says, instead of trying to spend time, analyze things which are beyond our own capabilities, one should be like the Gopas and the Gopis, and therefore Brahma says, Aho Bhagyam, Nanda Gopa Vajaukasam, Yanmitram Paramanandam, Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. Purnam Brahma Sanatanam, that Purna, that Brahma Sanatana, that Supreme Being, that Purushottama, that Parabrahma, that Narayana, that Paravasudeva, decided to choose the Gopas to become their friend. How blessed those Gopas, how blessed those Gopis are. Aho Bhagyam, Aho Bhagyam. What to tell of their fortune that these cowherd men, the ordinary cowherd men, ordinary cowherd women of Rajabhumi had the blessing to enjoy, to experience friendship of Krishna. What fortune they have. Therefore, Brahma says, Hey Krishna, I have only one desire now. Brahma, who is the creator of the entire Brahmanda, who owns Satyaloka, he says, I have only one desire, hey Krishna. Krishna looks at him and says, what desire you have? I have given you Satyaloka. My desire is to bathe myself by the dust of the lotus feet of all the Vrajavasis. If possible, hey Krishna, please give me an opportunity so that I can roll on the streets of Vrajabhumi. Let me take the dust from the lotus feet of the Gopas and the Gopis and let my head be bathed by the dust from those lotus feet. He says, Yajjivitam tu Nikilam Bhagavan Mukundaha. The entire life of these Gopas and the Gopis seem to revolve around Mukunda. I have to learn how to lead every moment myself from these simple Vrajavasis. Therefore, grant me fulfillment of that one desire. That desire to bathe myself in the dust of the lotus feet of, not your lotus feet, the lotus feet of every Vrajavasi. And that dust is still being searched, he says, by the Vedas. He says, even the Vedas have not completed searching the dust of the lotus feet of not Bhagavan, lotus feet of all the Vrajavasis. Such is the glory of Vrajabhumi, such is the glory of the lotus feet of the Gopikas and the Gopas, such is the glory of the dust associated with the lotus feet of Gopikas and Gopas. He says, Krishna, please fulfill that desire of mine. Brahma, when he completes, once again prostrates to Krishna. Krishna is pleased with Brahma. And now the calves and the cowherd boys are back again, the original ones. not the manifestations of Krishna. And then they all go back home. Time passed by. Then Shuka continues his narration. Tatascha paugandavaya sritau vraje. Now we are making a very important transition. The transition is Pauganda. Krishna is now attaining the age of Pauganda. From a Balyavastha to Paugandavastha. Pauganda, it means between 6 to 10. Pauganda. So 6, Krishna is growing up, becoming taller. That little naughty little boy who was crawling, who was trying to run, trying to walk, is now growing taller, growing stronger, becoming more handsome. The gopis are now even more attracted to Krishna. Tatascha pauganda vayasritau vraje babhuvatastau pashupala sammatau. Now that Krishna has grown taller, is now reached the age of Pauganda, now all the elders of Vraja have decided that not only can he herd the calves, now he can also herd the cows as well. Now he has become a big boy. So therefore, babhuvatastutau pashupala sammatau gascharayantau sakibihi samampadaihi. Along with the rest of the cowherd boys, now they can take all the cows and the calves to the forests of Vrindavana, and engaging thus in the company of their friends, the two boys, they go on imprinting their lotus feet everywhere as they go. Vrindavanam punya ativa chakratuhu. Thus Vrindavana becomes very, very auspicious, sacred land, because wherever we go, we can see Krishna's magical footprints all over. The land became sacred because of that. And Krishna, every day, as per the custom that was there, every day in the morning, along with all his fellow cowherd boys, used to take all the cows and the calves going around. And Krishna also now started to play the flute as he goes by. And every day in the morning they go, and then they come back every day in the evening. And the forests of Vrindavana also felt very blessed that they had Krishna amidst them every day. And therefore, what did they do? Tanmanju Gosali Mrigat Vijakulam Mahan Manah Prakya Payas Saraswata Vatena Jushtam Shatapatra Gandhina Niriksharantum Bhagavan Manodadhe. All the trees, all the plants, all the birds, all the animals, all the bees in Vrindavana decided we all must come together and we must somehow please Krishna. Because Krishna is doing so much. He is coming every day, leaving everything there from his home, and he's coming and spending the entire day with us. They all decided that we must please Krishna. Krishna is very easy to please. Great effort is not required. Tanmanju Goshali Mrigat Vijakulam. The bees, the humming bees and the chirping birds, it seems pleased Krishna's ears. Mahanmana Prakya Payas Saraswata. The lake water was like a sage's mind, and it pleased Krishna's tongue. Vatena Jushtam Shatapatra Gandhina. The breeze in the Vrindavana forest pleased Krishna's sense of touch, and the fragrance of the flowers everywhere pleased Krishna's nose. Niriksharantum Bhagavan Manodade. The beauty of the forest pleased Krishna's eyes. Now, everything there, they were all thinking of only one thing. The trees, the flowers, the leaves, the twigs, the birds, the bees, the animals, the grass, everything in Vrindavana was only thinking of, how can I please my Krishna today? Their endeavor was pleasing Krishna all the time. And in that process, Krishna was so very pleased. Not only that, Krishna was more pleased because all of them were also serving Balarama. We see a very interesting segment here where Krishna is pleased with Vrindavana, not because Vrindavana is serving him. He is pleased because the entire Vrindavana is worshipping Balarama. We may wonder how the forest of Vrindavana is worshipping Balarama. Krishna looks at Balarama and says, hey Balarama, look at the trees. They are bowing down and worshipping your lotus feet. How blessed the trees should be all their ignorance will be eradicated and they will take birth. The next time they will have a punya janma, not as trees. Look at all the bees around here. Hey Balarama, they are all singing your glories. How blessed they should be, because the bees are excited that they have amidst them Balarama, who has descended amidst them. Therefore, they're all singing. And Krishna is looking at Balarama and says, look at the peacocks, look at the doves, look at the cuckoos. They're all dancing, singing only to please you, hey Balarama, because they're all excited to have somebody like you amidst them. Look at the earth. She's so fortunate that you are touching her, you are walking on her, and you are looking at her. Why Krishna is doing this? Very interesting, because Krishna is setting a stage, is setting a stage by looking at Balarama and saying how everything is worshipping, because now Balarama has a very important role to play. Also, Krishna is sending a very important message. Balarama is Adisesha Avatara, and by worshipping Adisesha Avatara, it is also another message Krishna is saying, to reach me, you have to now worship my primary Sesha, my Prathama, my foremost servant, and in that process, one can easily reach me. Now, by Krishna, that thus expresses his satisfaction with everything in Vrindavana, not because everything is serving him, but everything is serving Balarama. It seems Krishna, when they go around, would also play pranks with all the children, all the cowherds, imitating the ecstatic singing of honeybees. He would imitate the cooing of the swans. He would imitate the dancing of the peacocks. He would imitate the sweet voice of a cuckoo. He would keep everybody entertained all the time. He would keep calling out the names of every cow that goes afar. Krishna remembered the names of every cow, every calf, and he would also imitate each and every cow. He would also start playing with little animals, and along with them he would also show as though he is in fear of the fierce animals. Here comes a tiger, he keeps running and hiding, showing playing with this fellow small animals like deers, calves and cows. And when Balarama rests, lying himself on a Gopa's lap, immediately Krishna would rush, go sit next to Balarama, and he would gently massage Balarama's lotus feet. Krishna keeps reminding himself, throughout Ramavatara, my Adisesha kept serving me day in and day out. He missed his sleep for 14 years and served me. Let me take this opportunity to serve my Adisesha again. Taking that opportunity, he would gently massage the lotus feet of Balarama. And when Krishna rests, making the lap of a fellow Gopakumara as his pillow, and when he rests, there would be a long queue of Gopas. Everybody would want to come, take the opportunity to massage Krishna's lotus feet. And thus, Krishna, Balarama, and the Gopas continue to have celebration every day in the forests of Vrindavana. Of course, as we already saw, there always has to be some action amidst celebration too. And then one fine day, Krishna's friends, 3 friends of Krishna. Sometimes we wonder, who are Krishna's friends? Are they all Gopakumaras? Do they have some names? We get to also find some names. Sridama, Subala, Stoka Krishna, 3 friends of Krishna. And one fine day, they looked at Krishna and Balarama and they said, hey Krishna, hey Balarama, few kilometers away from here, there is a very beautiful vana, Thala Vana. There is a beautiful vana which is filled with thala trees and fruits. We are very desirous of going there and enjoying those fruits. We all must venture out to Thala Vana and we must go pluck the fruits and we must relish. But there is one problem, hey Krishna. This Thala Vana is ruled by Dhenukasura. Dhenukasura, who has the form of a donkey. This Thala Vana, by the wicked Dhenukasura, he does not allow anyone to enter Thala Vana. Here we see something very interesting, what the Gopakumaras express. All of us have desires to be fulfilled, and there are desirables. Unfortunately or fortunately, between our desire and the desirable, there is always an obstacle. There is always an obstacle which presents a challenge. And we are trying to overcome the challenge to attain the desirable, to fulfill the desire. The Gopakumaras know that the only means to attain anything, any desirable, and overcome any challenge, any obstacle is to take Krishna's help. And therefore, they say, hey Krishna, you are the only one who can fulfill. And also when there is an obstacle, it also adds to the adventure. That is the reason why sometimes we also like the thrill of trying to fulfill a desire. But then always we must watch out for the thrill must not result in a kill. This is what is the danger of any thrill. And in the process of fulfilling the desire, if we seek Krishna's help, then that thrill can be a good adventure, just like how all these Gopakumaras are going to have an adventure of a lifetime when they decide to go to Thalavana. Thalavana is where Dhenukasura resides. All the boys together with Balarama. Now Balarama takes the lead. Balarama takes the lead and they go to Thalavana. Thalavana is filled with tall thala trees, palm trees, filled with thala fruits. What does Balarama do? Balarama also is excited. Looks at all the trees with his powerful arms. He starts to shake the trees like a huge elephant shaking trees. He shakes the trees and the fruits start falling. And with all the noise that is made, Dhenukasura gets to know. Dhenukasura rushes. Dhenukasura is infuriated. He sees that these cowherd boys have ventured into his vana, which is not acceptable to him. He rushes to attack. He is in the form of a donkey. And what does donkey do? Donkey's weapons are its hind legs. So keeping his back towards Balarama, Dhenukasura screams with rage. He brays loudly and obnoxiously screaming. He hurls his two hind feet and starts kicking Balarama. Balarama also plays the game with Dhenukasura. Initially, he lets Dhenukasura kick him. He takes the kicks and then eventually he seizes Dhenuka by his hoofs. Catches hold of the hind legs of Dhenuka. The same tool that Dhenuka used to kick Balarama, Balarama holds the same tool, the same weapon. It's like somebody is coming to cut with a sword and then that sword itself is held. And that sword is turned against the attacker. That's what Balarama does. Holding Dhenuka's hind legs, he starts to whirling violently. And that itself was enough for Dhenuka to become unconscious. Then he hurls forcefully the donkey, a huge, massive donkey like Asura, on the one thala tree, crashing into one thala tree. That Asura dies and that one thala tree shakes and then the entire vana is shook with mighty force. It's like a tsunami hitting the vana and all the trees fall, and in that process the whole place is filled with all the fruits. So suddenly hordes of donkeys, Asuras in the form of donkeys, the associates of Dhenukasura, come attacking. Krishna and Balarama have a ball of a time, counter-attacking all these Asuras, and they kill them in no time. Dhenukasura and all the other Asuras are killed and slain, and all the Gopakumaras are excited because now this turned into an adventure. They all came only to taste the fruits, but in the process they also had a nice adventure and they all rejoice and celebrate. Dhenukasura Vada by Balarama is a very, very significant incident. What we need to understand is Dhenukasura and his associates represent contaminations of our heart. What kind of contaminations? We have two kinds of false conceptions. These are two major contaminations in our heart, two false conceptions. The two false conceptions are, I am the proprietor, I am the possessor, and two, I am the enjoyer. I am the possessor, the proprietor, I am the enjoyer. We think we can possess, we think we own, and in that process, we are constantly trying to possess things, possess positions, possess power, possess people, and we are constantly trying to enjoy what we possess. These two false conceptions are contaminations of our heart. These two false contaminations also lead to two inner wars. What are these two inner wars? There is an inner war going on between, it's an inner war. There is an inner achiever in us versus an inner enjoyer in us. If you deeply reflect, there is a war going inside us every day. War between an inner achiever and inner enjoyer. There is an inner achiever in us who wants us to achieve constantly, work hard to achieve things, possess things, own things, gain power, gain position, gain name, gain fame. But there is also an inner enjoyer. So these two are conflicting, because if we are endeavoring to possess, we cannot enjoy. We have to postpone enjoyment. If we are endeavoring to enjoy, we have to stop endeavoring to possess. There is always this conflict going on. The inner achiever is saying, let's enjoy here and now. The inner possessor is saying, work hard, possess, go on. And it's a struggle. It's a struggle. And what we realize is, by trying to be a possessor, the proprietor, trying to own things, sooner or later, we set ourselves for frustration, because what we try to possess has a temporary shelf life. What we try to possess is temporary, and therefore we set ourselves to frustration. We set ourselves to disappointment. And by trying to be an enjoyer, we also set ourselves to discontentment all the time. And therefore, what we need to realize is, our heart is like Talavana. Our heart is like Talavana, which is contaminated by these two false conceptions. We need to realize that we are not the possessors, we are not the proprietors, we are not the enjoyers. Krishna is the only proprietor. Krishna is the sole enjoyer. In the 5th chapter of the Gita, Krishna declares, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram, he says. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Krishna is the only Bhokta. He is the supreme enjoyer. And he is the supreme owner. He is the supreme possessor of everything. He owns, he possesses everything. But he is also Suhridam Sarva Bhutana. Because he is Suhrid, he possesses, but he keeps giving us. He provides everything that we need. Therefore, there is no compulsion for us to possess anything at all, because whatever we need is provided for by Krishna. The one who owns everything, the one who possesses everything, diligently takes care of our every need without us asking for anything. He keeps giving, he keeps providing. And when we realize he is our Suhrit, he is supremely benevolent, then we are at peace all the time. And also we must realize that he is not only the sole possessor, he is also the supreme enjoyer. Now, does that mean we are deprived of enjoyment? Not really. So Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, no doubt. But we must realize that we can enjoy only when we stay connected with him. As long as we remain in the connectedness, when we remain in remembrance of Krishna, then we enjoy. Our enjoyment is together with Krishna. We can never enjoy on our own. Separated from Krishna, independent of Krishna, there is no real enjoyment, because he is Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasa Savaloka Maheshwaram. He is the supreme enjoyer. When we realize this, we also find out how to resolve this inner war. Inner war between an inner enjoyer and an inner achiever. There is war, this is going on, which is conflicting. Now, when we realize this, Krishna is the sole proprietor, Krishna is the supreme, the only sole enjoyer, then we also realize that our achievement, our endeavor to work, when we transform it into loving service to Krishna, when our hard work becomes hard work, then automatically that work that we do, which pleases Krishna, will also bring us supreme enjoyment. And in the process of loving and serving Krishna, we also partake in that enjoyment. That is why together with Krishna, we are always in bliss. When we are disconnected from Krishna, we are always in struggle. And therefore, our heart is like Alavana, contaminated by these two false conceptions. And when this heart is contaminated, we keep thinking we are the enjoyers, we are the possessors. There is no room for Krishna in the heart. Dhenuka and his fellow asuras have occupied the heart, taken over our heart. There is no room for Krishna to reside in our hearts. What is the solution? What is the way out? We need a guru to walk in. Balarama, Adisevasha Avatara, is like a guru who comes and shakes, like how he shook the trees of Palavana, to shake our false conceptions. The one who shakes, uproots these false conceptions, shows us how we need to realize that Krishna is Sarvabhuta Suhrit, how we need to realize that he is Sarvaloka Maheshwara, how we need to realize that he is the ultimate Bhokta. And when we realize that, these false conceptions are weeded out, are whirled and hurled, just like how Balarama whirls and hurls Dhenuka and his fellow asuras. All our false conceptions are whirled and hurled out. Our heart becomes pure. Palavana is rid of Dhenuka. And when it is rid of Dhenuka, then there is only room for Krishna and Krishna Cheshtitas. Then Krishna resides in our heart and we get to experience his Cheshtitas. And when we experience Krishna's Cheshtitas in our hearts, we get to experience that supreme bliss, immerse ourselves in that bliss together with Krishna. Therefore, Dhenukasura Vada teaches us a very important lesson. And for many who asked a question, does Balarama also get a role to play in Krishna Cheshtitas? We also see that Balarama also plays a very important role. Then Krishna and Balarama are back to Vraja. Krishna Kamalapatraksha, Punya Shravana Kirtana. Now every time Krishna makes it a point that when he re-enters the town from the forest, he ensures that everybody knows, already everybody is waiting. So everybody is waiting to look at Krishna Kamalapatraksha and his Punya Shravana Kirtana. And even before Krishna enters, his glories are being chanted by all the Gopas and the Gopis. And then everybody get to see the valiant Krishna coming from the forests of Vrindavana into the towns. All the Gopikas are able to see Krishna's hair now powdered with the dust raised by the cows, decorated with the peacock flower, decorated with those fragrant flowers plucked freshly from the forests of Vrindavana. And Krishna comes now playing his flute and to the accompaniment of chanting of all the Gopas. Now all the Gopikas are standing outside. Now Krishna, as they come, they get to see him up very close. Shuka beautifully captures those glorious moments. Pitva mukunda mukasaragam akshibhrungaihi tapam jahur virahajam vrajayoshitohni tatsat-kritam samadhigamya visesha goshtam savridaha savinayam yatapanga moksham. That glorious moments where every Gopika experiences that bliss of looking at Krishna. Pitva mukunda mukha saragam akshibhrungaihi. With their bee-like eyes, it seems the gopis drink the honey of Mukunda's beautiful face. The bee-like eyes of gopis are constantly drinking that honey of Mukunda's face. Tapam jahur virahajam prajayoshitohni. And that distress of separation from him throughout the day, they remain separated from Krishna. But that tapa of separation, that viraha tapa, immediately is given up the moment they get to have a glimpse of Krishna's enchanting face. Tapam jahur virahajam prajayoshitohni. Tat Satkritam Samadhigamya Visesha Goshta. Krishna knows that all the gopikas are looking at him, and therefore he also ensures that his glance falls on each and every one of them. Very patiently, he looks at each, reciprocates with each and every one of them, accepting their offerings. He said, what are the offerings of Gopakanyas? What are they offering? Very interesting. What offerings they are giving? Savridahasa Vinayam Yadapanga Moksham. Liberated from their anxieties, now that Krishna is there, it seems the offerings that were given by the Gopikas to Krishna are their sidelong glances. Very shyly, filled with love, filled with bashfulness, filled with laughter. They're very shy. They cannot look face to face, but at the same time, they cannot take their glances away from Krishna. Savridaha savinayam yatapanga moksham. Liberated from their anxieties, that they are giving sidelong glances filled with love and bashfulness, and Krishna keeps acknowledging. And this experience goes on. Pitva mukunda mukasaragam akshibringai. Let us continue to contemplate on that enchanting face of Mukunda, and let our eyes too become bee-like, unlike gopis. Let's continue to drink the honey of Mukunda's beautiful face. Next week, we are going to drink the honey that is going to flow from the lotus feet of Mukunda. Until then, let us enjoy Mukunda's glorious face. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu.